Welcome to AER Int channel and welcome back to Surfacing course. In this lecture, we're gonna show how to work with guide curves with lofted surface. Guide curves help us to cut the sketch profiles from the outside. We can use guide curves on 2D or 3D sketches. So here we have a profile 1, this one, and we have a profile 2, this one, and we have 4 guide curves. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those guide curves can be 3D or 2D sketches, and we can have unlimited guide curves. So let's go to surfaces, and let's go to lofted surface. So first, let's choose our profiles. So let's choose this profile, and let's choose this profile. And now as we see, our profile is twisted. We have connector here from this point to this point. Because when I selected the first profile, I click here, and I selected the second profile, I click here. But we can just drag this point to here. And now our surface is not twisted anymore. And now this is the shape that we got when we don't use the guide curve. Here we got that guide curves. So we can right click here, selection manager. Let's go with select group. Let's select this one. And okay. Now we see the changes in the shape of our surface. We used only one guide curve. But the shape of these guide curves also affect on every corner of the surface. As we see, we have the same shape on this corner, and here on this one. So we have the shape of this guide curve. Why is that? Let's go here, and here we have some options. But by default, here we have the next guide. That means the next guide curve. So this guide curve will affect to the next guide curve. But since only we have one guide curve, as we see here, this guide curve affects all corners on our surfaces. So all corners have the same shape. If we add a new guide curve here, let's choose this one. Now let's click OK. Now we have a second guide curve, and we see the changes in the shape. Now this guide curve doesn't affect in 100% all corners. Now we have effects of this guide curve and on this guide curve. So we see that this is not the shape of this one. The shape it's not the same with this shape, but before it was. So we can watch how the shape is changes when we delete this guide curve. Let's delete. And now we see that we got the same shape of these guide curves of all corners. Because this goes to the next guide, which is this guide. Then this shape only goes to the next guide, to this guide. Then this guide curve only affects to the next guide curve, this one. That's why in this case, this edge doesn't have the shape of this guide curve. Although this guide curve affects in a little this corner here and this corner here. So this is the first option that we have here. Let's delete this one, this guide curve. And let's see what other options do we have here. We have global here. This is the same as to the next guide when we have only one guide curve. So this guide curve affects globally all corners on our surface when we use global. And here we have to the next edge. And now as we see, we have here a guide curve, and this guide curve only affects to the next edge. It doesn't affect this edge. It doesn't affect this edge. It doesn't affect this edge. It's effect to the next edge. As we see, here is the effect of these guide curves only to the next edge, but not this edge. And here as well, only to this edge, but not this edge. So if we want to choose one guide curve to affect only this edge here, then we can go with the next edge. If we want this guide curve will affect globally, then we can use global. But here, for every edge, we have a different guide curve, so we can choose all 4 guide curves. Let's choose all 4. Like this. And now we have this shape. And this is how we can work with guide curves and how we can control the shape of our surface with guide curves. And remember, we can use unlimited number of guide curves. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you like. I hope it can be a little helpful and useful.